So Mark here from Rock and Load. This evening I am joined by Welsh Rockers The Now. The guys are dropping their debut album, Too Hot to Handle, March 1st, courtesy of Trew Music. And this evening I've got Callum, Jay and Will with me tonight to tell me all things rock and roll in 2024. Gentlemen, how you doing?
All good, thanks.
Yeah, all good.
So listen, for anybody unfamiliar with the band, give us a little bit of a history about how you guys got to where you are today.
Go on, Carl. He was in the band before me and Jay. So how did it all start? You can set the scene for us.
So we went to a gig in Cardiff, me, Shane, and me and Shane, and we watched Kasabian play live. And when we were queuing up and all that, and seeing all the people there, and like seeing the gig itself, we came out and we were like, we gotta give this a go. Like, and seeing them do so well. So yeah, we came out on the train home. We just all decided that just start a band.
Simple as that. Just the inspiration hit while watching Kasabian, and next thing you know, you guys are rock stars, bona fide rock stars yourselves.
Yeah, the gig.
And so, when roughly was that?
About 4 years ago, I'd say. Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Okay. And had you been gigging in various bands and before that?
Oh, maybe a little longer. We were already, we kind of met in like a jam night, all of us, before we met Jay and Will, and then they kind of grew into the band. And as time went on,
we didn't listen to a Mark. We didn't grow into the band. They were begging for us to join.
Nothing happened until we joined. We made the band. We are the
band. I know the truth's coming out. The truth's coming out.
The truth comes out in the end, Mark.
Yeah. Truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. So how long has the current lineup been together then?
Well, I think it was about 2.5 years ago when I joined. I was sort of the last sort of current member to join. Callum, Jay and Shane were in the band. So I'd say the last sort of 2 years has been when it's really kicked off. Obviously, the first sort of 6 months, we were all sort of finding our feet. You know, just joining the band. And then, it's gone from strength to strength since that point, Mark.
It all fell into place.
Well, the final piece of the jigsaw, what can I say?
Yeah. I hear you, man. I'm with you. So listen, tell me about the album itself then. So how long has the process been for that? Obviously, your debut album's coming out. So where and when did that journey start?
Go on, Jay.
It's felt like a lifetime, to be honest, haven't it? We done the album. I think it was end of 2022, was it? We done it. So we've just been eager to get it out there, but obviously you've got to do things properly. But yeah, we're just super excited now to see what's going to come on the back end of the album, and the sort of response we've had so far has been absolutely mega. So just want to get the ball rolling now, really.
Yeah, it must be strange. So I always, when I'm talking to musicians and they're telling me about the time span, you know, from, for example, writing the songs to getting in the studio, producing them, getting them turned around, it can be, as you say, 1 or 2 years. Like, it must be weird sitting on a project like that for so long, trying to keep the enthusiasm levels and obviously wanting to get it out there.
Yeah, well, I probably listened to the album about 2,000 times over, so I'm already fed up with it before it even comes out. But it is. Yeah, it's mad. You just want everyone to hear the masterpiece you've created. So, yeah, it's exciting.
The weird part for us has been, I think, we've only just started learning some of the tracks on the album again. Because obviously you go so long, you record the tracks on the album, then you obviously gig. You can't really go playing those songs live then. So literally on the weekend, we had to learn one of the first songs you recorded on the album again because we all sort of forgot because of so much time. So it is a bit of a weird process, but you know, an exciting and enjoyable one.
Yeah, I'm sure. You must sort of be busting at the stage to literally get it out there and sort of show it off.
Definitely can't wait to get it out and show everybody, baby.
And so, look, tell me about the sort of sound of the band, because you guys definitely have a sort of vibe going on there. Was that intrinsic in the band when going into the recording studio, or is that something that your producer has helped bring out for you?
I think our producer has helped massively with our sound, but I think we didn't really find our sound until, I would say, when Will joined. The the sound we had from the EP, that was the direction we wanted to go in. But then again, with the album, no song sounds the same, so it's kind of hard to put us in a category. We've got our own sound. There's no other band like us. So
yeah, like you certainly with maybe the production is bringing a certain sort of vibe. Certainly, you can say about the feel of it. Although definitely for you guys, your sound is quite different to something that I would listen to. And I'm raised on rock from like the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. There, so it's typical American AOR sort of rock and roll. That's my sort of thing I was raised on. But you guys have quite a modern sound, which is probably indie rock roots as well.
I think a big part of that was the fact that the producer Oli Jacobs, I think he just recently won a Grammy for the work he did with Harry Styles, and he did loads of production and on the 1975's last album. So we've been lucky, really. We've managed to grab Oli to come and sprinkle a little bit of magic on our tracks as well.
And when he was in his prime as well, isn't it? Prime time, bro.
Yeah. How did you land that appointment?
I have absolutely no idea, boys. Any of you two know?
It was through our manager.
Yeah.
I think our manager obviously got ties with Peter Gabriel, and another time, Oli was one of the in-house producers at Real World, because he was still sort of coming through the ranks himself as a producer. Right. And he done our EP for us. And then it was just after we'd done the album. He'd won 2 Grammys for the 1975 and Harry Styles.
All of a sudden, he's not answering your calls.
No, he keeps in contact with all of us, to be fair. He's a really nice guy. He's down to earth. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, fair play. It's funny, like it just shows you in the blink of an eye, for somebody like himself as well, overnight something can happen and just traction. I'm sure he's getting phone calls from all over the globe now. Oh, definitely.
I mean, he was a massive part in the sort of evolution of the now as well. So yeah, big part of the band. It would be to work with other producers as well to learn more things, but yeah, he was a massive part of the evolution of our sound.
Yeah, and how did you guys find that process then, the actual recording studio and working with the likes of Oli and stuff like that there? Because some people can be quite intimidated by the studio and the environment.
He was quite welcoming, really, wasn't he? Like he just get along with him so quick. He's got the same like humor and stuff as us as well, so we were all just having a laugh all the time as well, weren't we? And
to be fair, if absolute wet producer, you're not going to get on with us because we were a bunch of idiots. So you've got to be somewhat of an idiot yourself in order to work with us.
Yeah, I think it's obviously they're like a fifth member of the band sometimes, aren't they? And
definitely.
You see certain musicians out there who work with only the same producer all the time, like Joe Bonamassa and stuff, who works with Kevin Shirley religiously across all of his albums. And there'll be different guys that I've spoke to, like literally like and feel a challenge of working with somebody new every single time.
Yeah, it's like Nirvana. It's like Steve Albini was like the guy that did Nevermind. He did In Utero, and I think he did loads, didn't he? So yeah, that's another band that absolutely used the same one. They were quite successful as well, I think.
Yeah, everybody has their own recipes for all of this. I suppose, it's never going to be the same for every band.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously with the stuff literally about to drop around the corner, what have you got planned for the launch?
So we had the launch sort of party or gig or whatever you want to call it. That's in the Islington O2 in London. That's going to be on the 7th of March. So that should be a fun night, especially I've got work that day and the next morning. So yeah. Be on their Diet Cokes and Red Bull. Not together, obviously, that's mental, but you know what I mean.
Calm down with that, but yeah.
I know. Rock and roll.
We've got quite a bit planned going on in the background as well with potential tours coming up. But obviously it's all hush hush at the moment because nothing's announced, so we've got to be careful what we say.
And the last when it go around saying, "Oh yeah, this is happening," because as soon as you say it's happening, you'll know what'll happen. It'll get cancelled. And you look like a bit of a tip then. So yeah, not saying anything yet.
Yeah. And so, look, tell me about you guys. How have you find the navigating the sort of local scene and stuff like that, building up an audience? So I was looking at your sort of social media figures, and you have very strong sort of numbers on Facebook, Spotify listens, Instagram. quite hefty followings and stuff. So you've done well, obviously, in this modern world of social media and all that shit. How have you navigated that, and what has drawn people towards you? How have you done that?
I think it's just being present. We're just on there. We always say social media, it could be like somebody's full-time job to do it for a band. And I just think, Shane does a lot of that. The lead singer is just being present, like we have photo shoots all the time, not because we, like the look of ourselves, which we do. But our photo shoots all the time, just with this content. You just got to literally just be throwing content out to keep people engaged, and that's just what we've done. And we do release a lot of tracks. I've never been in a band before where we release so many singles, and I think that's a good thing. Scary, but a good thing.
Yeah. It's funny because I was at a gig last night, just actually talking to a band, and we were talking about this whole what is right, what is wrong for a band in 2024. What's the approach? Release singles constantly, release 3 singles or maybe mini EPs, and everybody has a different approach to it. You felt that your own obviously has worked for you then?
We've just gone flow by our manager, and the goal was to build a following. So
you have to say it again. I think you went blurry then.
Oh, sorry. So at the start, we were just sort of going with the flow, weren't we? I mean, we were just releasing singles to build up as much of a following as possible, just getting more traffic to our pages, which has worked. So, yeah.
And locally, with the local sort of music scene, have you been gigging much then within Wales or whatever?
We try not to gig so much locally, just because when we do gig local, it just creates much of a. Obviously, we ended up Swansea Arena. We were one of the first bands to play there, which was a sellout show. That was absolutely amazing. It was a good experience. But yeah, we sort of, I think we've only ever done it sort of once, maybe twice at a push a year at most.
Yeah. There's nowhere to play, to be being honest. There's loads of
there's not a massive local scene, really.
Yeah. And so do you find yourselves in mostly going into the UK mainland, and obviously with a launch show in London as well? It's a bold statement as much as anything else. Is obviously going to make a splash down there.
I mean, yeah, hopefully, and like we're saying, there's only a handful of places in sort of Wales you can play, and then if you've already played them 3 or 4 months or 5 months ago, you don't really want to go back there again. So you feel like you're flogging a bit of a dead horse a bit. So we end up going over the bridge into England just because we know there's loads of venues there. So, and obviously the wider you play, the more sort of a bigger fan base, a bigger radius of fans you have. So that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, very good, very good. And you've obviously supported some cool bands as well, like Placebo, Noel Gallagher, and Frank Carter. Opportunities like that obviously are great to have and spread the name of the band.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The only thing I'll say about Noel Gallagher, mind, is that we were hoping that we'd meet him, but he basically just rocked up in the car, got out of the car, went on the stage, played the songs, got off the stage in the car and drove off. So
yeah, I don't think he liked us. We ate all his food, didn't we?
We did eat.
we ate every single bit of his hot dog
sandwiches.
I didn't touch it.
That's the role of a support band. That's what you have to do. These guys don't understand what it's like to be back in the day when you're starving and you're literally sticking all the food in your bag and then taking it to the next gig.
Exactly. Yeah.
I even brought my missus round to have some as well.
Yeah, I remember a good friend of mine was playing over here, and I can't remember. I think they were supporting the Blues Pills. I think it was from memory, and I remember them clearing out their green room upstairs. Just all the food came home with us, So this is what has to happen sometimes, unfortunately.
Exactly. Hopefully one day, somebody will be stealing our food, and we'll just set Brom on them then, no?
Yeah,
we'll be in the van eating caviar.
You'll all rock up to the gigs in four separate cars, do the gig, climb back into your 4 separate cars and drive home. That's it. That'll be it,
Yeah. Next month, expect.
Yeah. And so tell me, like, what's the bigger sort of ambition for the band? Obviously, what would you like to do?
No, work and do this instead of working. We always say if we could earn what we earn from our sort of daytime jobs and But being a band, that's, you know, I'm not talking about building a swimming pool in my back garden. I don't really care about that. If I could, you know, do what I'm doing now, but only be in the band, then I'd be, you know, I'd be happy. I don't know what boys think.
Well, obviously, I want to be filthy, stinking rich because I've got a lavish lifestyle that I like to live.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just think the money is just part of being big, really, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. It's just being able to do something you love as a full-time job. Yeah, it'll just be a good feeling.
What about you, Bron?
I'm on the same point as you, Will, really.
I think like if you
Bron's already got a pool in his back garden, so
he sorted.
Back garden. Yes.
Capitalist. So like I suppose like today, when you say to people like what is success in the modern music industry, and I suppose the reality is, as you say, if you can literally pay your mortgage, earn a living doing what you're doing, then you are successful today, because the days of being the 1%er, you know, big money is rare.
Yeah, I'm not going to be happy until I get to a point where I can't even go to the shop and buy a pack of bacon without people mobbing me.
Yeah.
That's the point I want to get at.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's when I'll say I've made it.
You could do that by climbing a tower with a rifle. You know, just depends on your approach to life. You know, but yeah, no, look, it's God, man, this industry now it's gone full circle. I was just talking to somebody last night, and we're just saying about, you know, I seen it, I think it was Rick Beato was talking about a interview with somebody, and they were saying that when you think about the recording industry, really, it was a very small window when people actually made money. Obviously, the record companies are making money, but the musicians literally made their money by touring, performing, and people coming out to see them live. And then you had that brief interlude in between where people bought CDs and records, and then it's gone back to now you have to tour and perform live to make money.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose it's about having a realistic expectation of what you can achieve by doing it, but it's hard graft and miles on the road. Isn't that what it's all about now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And especially when you know, at the minute, it's obviously not paying the bills, so we're all working full time as well.
Yeah.
So trying to juggle the two is nuts.
Yeah, but everybody's in the same boat. You know, this is a weird thing. Yeah. I get press and PR from all over the world, and when you get a press release, you see a picture of a band, and you'll hear all the great stuff on the press release. When you do an interview, you realize that those guys in America in a hardcore band or a pop punk band in Indiana or Idaho or whatever are doing the exact same thing, grafting, you know, doing a day job and then busting their balls to climb in a van and drive 1,000 miles to a gig.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
It is what it is.
Yeah, the joys of the music industry in 2024.
To go and play an hour set.
yeah. Well, did you ever watch it? A brilliant. I think it was Netflix. There might be like a documentary about bands. You know, it's like a homemade DIY documentary. I think it was about the Seattle scene, and these guys were literally driving from Seattle to Newfoundland and, you know, Alaska, and they turned up at a gig that was supposed to be a gig, and it was actually a wake for one of the band members of the other band they were supposed to play with. They had died, and they ended up playing a set at the gig anyway, because like literally they drove 1,000 miles, you know.
I bet they played more people there than we have recently anyway.
That's probably the reality of it. Yeah, that's what he said himself. There was more people at the wake than there would have been at the gig, you know. So yeah, like at least be grateful that I suppose the UK is limited in size compared to the USA.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, USA is where we want to be, really, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you fancy doing the whole across the water thing? Would you like to tour Europe and the States?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so to be honest, I would say 90% of our following is American on Spotify, which is nuts. So
yeah, it's brilliant though.
It's definitely on the cards.
Yeah, the internet has really opened up for everybody, you know, the opportunity to reach people in far out places now, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's great. I mean, I suppose the good thing and bad thing now is obviously anybody can be in a band now, can't they? And sort of have a social media presence, you know, whereas before the only time you see a band is if they're on Top of the Pops or on Radio 1. So more competition, but more availability to be in a band, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's true though. Like again, for me on this side of the fence, you know, I didn't realize just how competitive it was until you're in a position where people are trying to reach out to you to get sort of exposure, and then all of a sudden there's a tsunami of people reaching out to you because they're all desperate for that platform for somebody to see them, to reach out to hear the music. So yeah, if you realize the reality of it, you probably wouldn't want to get out of your bed. But if you're passionate about what you do, then I think generally the cream comes to the top, because you put your heart and soul into it, and somebody will buy into it.
Yeah, definitely. We hope it for.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for your time. I won't keep you too much longer. I really appreciate you talking to me tonight.
Boys, do you want to see something fantastic? Watch this.
Go on, then.
Watch now.
Not fireworks again.
I've been working on a lot all day. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, it's like an explosion, boys. Jesus.
You're an absolute gimp.
What a loser.
Well, look, guys, again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Just a reminder for everybody, the album drops March 1st, Too Hot to Handle, courtesy of Trew Music. Best of luck for the launch show, guys, and hope to hear lots more from you over the course of the year.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having us.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
Take care.